one thing was for sure. They both believed Sparks to be a total tool.
Be an exciting contest which shows that divorced couples can still have fun together, right?
Mythological hero Achilles. C. On the spot dice spin.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Well, it's year 10 here at the wonderful website known as Game Show Garbage. Basically what we're doing for you 10 is we just launched a new series called The Yearly Checkup. It's where me and Jessica Brand look at the current crop of game shows and see what they need to do or what they don't need to do in order to become perfect, healthy beings in the world of game shows. We're also wrapping up Games of 90 this year because we only got about 6 or 7 left. And now, this one was going to be a Games of 90, but since it was taped in 1988, I pretty much thought it'd be a better fit just to have it be an induction proper. Now, remember Takeshis Castle? That was a fantastic show. However, this show ripped off Takeshis Castle, took everything that made it good, and whitewashed it all to hell. I give you King of the Mountain.
Put their minds and bodies on the line and do battle on television's most exciting action-adventure game. So keep your eyes peeled for the unexpected. Brace yourselves for a spectacular display of raw courage. Hold your breath as mere mortals stand up to incredible danger. It's everyone for themselves as they fight to become King of the Mountain.
Where do I even start with this? King of the Mountain is the game show equivalent of the Scarlett Johansson version of Ghost in the Shell. It takes something uniquely Japanese and very enjoyable in that aspect and decided what it needed was some whitewashing and getting rid of all what made it enthralling viewing. Instead of seeing 100 contestants try to beat the titular character and win 1 million yen and the respect of everyone for competing such a hard challenge and tasks, 10 contestants compete in games from the show for no particular reason and just try to win a massive adventure of a lifetime. I use the word whitewashing and I really need to explain it, and I will during the course of the induction. But in order to get a better explanation and better understanding, we need to take a look at the original Takeshis Castle.
痛快成り行き番組風雲たけし城天を突きそびえ立つこの城を人はたけし城と呼ぶ今まさにこの城をめぐって壮絶なる戦いの火蓋が切って落とされようとしていた城主は難攻不落のこの城を総額1億円をかけて築いたビートたけしそしてこの城に攻め入ろうとしているのが攻撃隊長の谷隼人である
Takeshi's Castle premiered on May 2nd, 1986. The premise is that Beat Takeshi has built a gigantic castle that cost him 1 million yen to make and is lording over the land like he is the supreme ruler. Well, he kinda is. General Tani is looking to seize the castle and end Count Takeshi's tyranny. To do this, he has recruited at least 100 people to fight the Count and storm his castle. The contestants go through all sorts of obstacles such as going up a big wall, storming the first pack of guards, swinging over a snake pit, crossing a river without touching the water, going through a door maze, among other perilous hazards that Takeshi and his advisor concocts to stop the oncoming forces of General Tani. At the end, the remaining contestants go after Takeshi himself and try to seize his castle by attacking Takeshi's paper target or light center with a water gun or laser beam. If that happens, then the one that did it seizes the castle and wins the 1 million yen. While it may look and sound silly, the story that they tell is great and it really does suck you in. Watching these people from countless walks of life trying to defeat an evil ruler is great to see. While out of the 130 some odd episodes, only 8 have beaten Takeshi's Castle, they would have earned it. It is an hour-long show and the show is treated like a big deal by everyone involved. It reminds you of shows like Treasure Hunt and Interceptor in the UK. With everything taking place, you had 2 options to bring the show to the States. Just dub everything and air it like it is, like what Challenge did in the UK with the Craig Charles version, and not the horrific Dick and Dom redubs. or make it to a complete comedy with all the hilarious spills and falls that do take place, i.e. what Spike did with Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. What you don't do is take just random games that the show had, add two very unfunny comedians who aren't interested in getting the show over or the contestants over, and instead put their funny stuff over, and you botch the format to make it all asinine at best, and at worst, headache-inducingly bad.
Rooney and Judy Toll.
Are you ready for this? Are you really ready for this? All right, because John and I are so excited, we're about to spontaneously combust.
The two hosts of this show are John Mulrooney and Judy Cole. They're comedians from what I gathered, and Mulrooney has had some decent gigs come his way, including being one of the many replacement hosts for Joan Rivers on her Late Show on Fox gig. They probably didn't see him in this, as if they did, he would be seen as painfully unfunny. Well, somebody must have seen Judy Cole on this, as she's been relegated to obscurity. When they're not spewing terrible puns that would make anybody cringe, they're doing painfully awkward interviews where they don't want to be anywhere near the contestants. They talk to them for about 2 seconds before they just say thank you and go away. Part of the host's job is to get the viewers to care about the show and the contestants. If they don't care about the show or the contestants, then why should the viewers care about watching the show? Now let's talk about the game. 10 contestants compete in obstacles lifted from Takeshis Castle. The farther they go in the obstacle, the more points they get, while completing an obstacle is worth 100 points. On its face, it's fine, but the execution of everything around it is a mess. There is no commentary for the game, so that's not adding any enjoyment, nor does it help the viewers to figure out what the hell is going on. It's the same problem that I had with the physical course from the Krypton Factor 90. The joke show in MXC gets it right and helps enhance the show that way. Here, it just adds to the confusion. So what games did they take from Takeshis Castle? Well, first of all, they took skipping stones, or as they called it, Suicide Swamp. In this game, the goal is to get from one end to the other without falling in the water and trying to avoid the stones that sink. Each third is worth 25 points, whereas going all the way is worth 100. The game is done well, just commentary would have improved it a lot, or any emphasis on the game in the interviews, which curiously gets edited out. In this one clip, Judy starts to talk about the game, but then it gets cut for some explanation about why the lone contestant who beat the course is a beach bum and how he doesn't pay the bills.
Unbelievable. So you got 100 points, you made it all the way across, and you're a beach bum, huh?
Beach bum, yeah, that's right.
And how do you pay the bills?
I don't bother. I just go around from beach to beach and mind my own business.
What a guy, and 100 points. Good luck the rest of the competition. Way to go.
This is something that Gladiators does right. The viewers don't care about the players and their backstory. They care about the action and how the contestants or gladiators handled the competition in the game. The show doesn't do that, instead go for the human interest story, and it interests nobody. Next up, Human Bowling, aka Skittles in the original. The 10 contestants draw a number to determine pin position. After that's done, John bowls and any pins left standing gets 25 points. After 2 balls, they redraw for a position. Once again, not bad, but the execution here once again is way off. For starters, unless the host at the start is the bad guy, like what Takeshi was in the original, then he or any of his minions bowling makes sense. In this show, John and Judy aren't designed to be the bad guys. As a matter of fact, they root for the contestants. So when John bowls and acts like a dick, then it makes the host unlikable in a big way. They could have gotten someone to do the bowling instead. Heck, they could have gotten a resident staffer or a big-name pro bowler for this game. Would have made more sense than to turn your host into a bad guy just for one game. The third and final main game event, the Doors of Deception, aka Knock Knock. The contestants have to go through 4 walls and hopefully run to the paper ones that go through and not the ones that are rock solid or have a net on the other end. No commentary once again ruins the game, and also the horrendous intros done by John kill the excitement. I just groan at his attempts at humor here. Oh, about the lack of commentary. Instead of telling the audience how they did, they just show it on a graphic. These graphics take more time to do than it would just take John and Judy to say a few lines of dialogue for each contestant in post-production. I'd much rather have that than no commentary and just a graphic. After the game, the top 4 contestants move on to Boulder Mountain. In case of a log jam in the middle, They play rock and rollers, or high rollers for, you know what, I'm just going to call it the MXC name log drop. Contestants must cross as many logs as they can while making it to the end with victory, otherwise they get wet. For the show though, they upped the difficulty by making the second and fourth ones be automatically rotating. They didn't need to do this as the game was hard enough. This made it almost impossible to beat. Once again, execution of games and the production hamper it all. And then we get to the main event, Boulder Mountain, aka Boulder Dash. In this game, 2 contestants are paired up to race up the mountain while avoiding all the boulders that are being thrown down to hamper them. First contestant to reach the top moves on and plays the winner of the second race. The winners then face off in one more race where the winner becomes King of the Mountain. Okay, I'll give them this, they at least made the ending worth it. Still wish we had some commentary instead of the lame music that's in the background. If you remember from the beginning, I said the winner would get the adventure trip of the lifetime. Actually, that's what the show said. What was that adventure trip? It was a resort vacation to Mexico. Really? A resort vacation is an adventure trip of a lifetime. When I hear the words adventure trip of a lifetime, I think of something like skiing in the Swiss Alps, or exploring the pyramids in Egypt. The one word that shouldn't be anywhere near the word adventure is resort, aka relaxation. They couldn't even get the grand prize on the show right. The show had 2 pilots and they sat on shelves for 2 years. This one that I'm showing you aired in the summer of 1990 for either burn-off or potential series runs. After seeing Gladiators, they could have re-edited this to rip off some of Gladiators' presentation and execution. Instead, they quarter-assed it and just gave us this unwatchable mess. We don't even get a farewell from the host. Instead, VO guy Bo Weaver has to do it, and his stuff was done in post. Why couldn't they get John and Julia to do post-commentary? It's like the producers saw Takeshis Castle and decided to lift the games and do nothing. This was a waste of everybody's time, essentially whitewashing Takeshis Castle and turn it into a big, gigantic mound of bleh. Now, this wasn't the only time that somebody in the States tried to bring Takeshis Castle over to our neck of the woods. There was a 1993 Vin de Bona special called Storm the Castle. It had Michael Berger as host, and it also had so many problems like King of the Mountain that you might very well see it on Game Show Garbage in the near future. But we can only take so many bad Takeshi Castle ripoffs at one time, so you might see it down the line. I will say that I am thankful that we at least got MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, out of Takeshi's Castle here in the States. I can't be so thankful, and just rewatching MXC while writing the script for this really fueled my frustration with this show. MXC, the joke show, got it right. The same people who brought you Burt Lunton's Love Buffet got it right, when this production didn't. What a waste. Oh well. To quote Kenny Blankenship and Vic Romano, Garrett, say along with me, don't get eliminated!